Hey, welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. This is one of the most neglected chess games I have ever not seen. And this is miraculous. I'm serious. I'm amazed this one isn't more popular than it is. This is a game by the world champion when he was world champion, R Capablanca, and a very young 14-year-old future world champion, Botvinnik. Botvinnik had learned how to play chess when he was 12. So he had 2 years of chess under his belt when he played this game with Capablanca. It was at a simultaneous exhibition. I don't know any more of the background details. I don't know how many boards Capablanca was playing. But the point is, Botvinnik beat the world champion at chess in a simultaneous game. And he was only 14 and only had 2 years experience. I am blown away that this chess game isn't more talked about. The thing I like about it is the tactics used are incredible. The only similar comparison that I can compare apples to walnuts, or oranges to bananas, or something like that, is if he only had 2 years experience. So it is as if a 14-year-old decided to box Mike Tyson when he was the world champion, and the 14-year-old knocks Tyson out. If we saw that on television, we would not be able to believe it. We are seeing that kind of a win here. So let me get on with this game. This is a 14-year-old playing the black pieces, and the reigning world champion in 1925, Capablanca, playing the white pieces. This is breathtaking how this happened. So he does the c4, and Botvinnik goes the e6. And he brings out the knight c3, and he comes out with the knight f6. And he comes out with the bishop g5, something Capablanca apparently did a lot, and he really liked it. Capablanca was probably one of the most natural chess players to ever grace our game. He was just naturally good, and in fact that became his undoing when he played Alekhine. Alekhine spent 2 solid years, the rumor is 8 to 11 hours a day, studying all of Capablanca's games so he could find all his weaknesses. Now there was determination. I wish I could afford to do that. I would get up to at least a 900 rating. Okay, then the c takes the d5. So Capablanca draws first blood here, fighting for the center. Botvinnik says, yes, you go right ahead, because I will happily exchange that pawn. And now Capablanca brings out his queen. When Capablanca brings out his queen, it was dangerous. I cannot overemphasize that. This man was incredible with his queen. Watch how Botvinnik handles this. A direct hit to the center. Capablanca is obviously, well, he's spreading out his power, but the majority of weight of power is on the queen side without question, right? A direct hit to the center. And he's only been at this for 2 years. This just boggles my mind. So Capablanca says, I'll take another pawn. And Botvinnik comes and he puts pressure on the pinned piece against the king by developing his queen. Not even acting like he's intimidated, you know. He's not playing soft, passive, wimpy chess here. He is just gunning for it, man. Capablanca takes the knight. And the knight takes the bishop on f6. So we're whittling down a little bit. Now, here is the question mark move of the world champion. He castled right into danger. Now granted it was a simultaneous, but Capablanca knew better than this. How could he have known that the little 14-year-old squirt across the table was going to be a future world champion, you know? He didn't, so he castled queenside, which was a no-no. In this instance, that very well could have been the losing move. That was, whoops, that was at least very bad strategy, without question. Knight f3, then the bishop comes to e6. Notice how after just 2 years, Botvinnik is developing his entire group, and he's covering the center very, very well. Knight comes up to d4, a great centralizing influence on the knight. Botvinnik instantly brings his rook onto the partial open file. A very strong move. In fact, it's so strong that Capablanca is now trying to do what he can to clog up that open file on the C file, because he sees, holy cow, my king is right across from that file, and if that file opens, that could be uncomfortable. Even though it's little Mr. Squirt over here I'm playing, that's not bad. So he's going to try to do the strategy of clog up the file, and Botvinnik says, look, I'm going to go ahead and start opening the file. He takes the knight, and the queen takes the bishop, which is really interesting because now the queen is in front of the king on a partial file, and that can be dangerous. Botvinnik comes down here, nabs him a pawn, welcoming himself into the strange king court. He says, good morning, Mr. King, and the king says, oh my God, you're an ugly hag. I want my wife back. We'll see what happens, right? Then, again, pulling up yet another piece, which is great chess, and, whoops, sorry, wrong one. B takes c6. King comes up to c2. He realizes I have to get my rook's capability of getting over here and making sure that that old hag that's been uninvited does not stick around for dinner. We do not want him. This is what he's threatening to do. Basically, take the queen. If he puts it here, the queen has no safe place to go. So he'll lose his queen. So does Botvinnik freak out as a little snot-nosed 14-year-old, 2-year experienced rookie want to be like me? No, he does not. Look at what he does. Ka-pow! C5. Now here's a lesson for all of us. This is, without question, a dire threat. A 14-year-old's about to lose his queen to the reigning world champion. Does he hurry up and scuttle the queen off? No. He ignores the threat. Where have we heard that before? And he comes up with an absolutely spectacular threat of his own. Now it's the world champion who's going to lose his queen if he's not careful. All he has to do is take the knight, and he'll lose a knight and a queen. That move is sensational. Truly. Savor that. That's sweet. That is one sweet move. Well, the knight, of course, has to get out of there. So he takes the bishop. Now, does Botvinnik respond? Does Botvinnik run away with the queen because this threat is still there? No, he does not. He comes to queen a4, check. He's sticking around. b3 bumps up to block the check. Botvinnik brings his queen back down, and the 14-year-old little girly queen says check to the king again, and by now Capablanca's trying to figure out, what do I have to do to get this kid? Right? Well, I can play without my queen. I don't think this kid can. So let's swap queens. And Botvinnik, amazingly, did swap the queens. So the ladies are off the board now, but The king isn't exactly well covered, you know. He's in his skivvies right now. He's kind of being bare, and it's embarrassing his kingdom, and so here come the troops to get rid of this embarrassment. Now, of course, he will take that knight, finish the knight off. He bumps up to f3, and he goes to rook c7. Wow, he's going to double the rooks and push the pawn. 14-year-old. This kid is something else, man. This is really something else. Rook goes to a1. Capablanca wants that open file, of course. And now he starts pushing his pawn further. 2 connected pawns on this end. Well, 3 technically, but these 2 are central. But he's starting to knock on the door, and Capablanca's got to by now start realizing, okay, I have to act somewhat serious now. I've been kind of clowning around with this kid. I castled on the wrong side, and holy cow, now I play chess, or wow, this could get brutal, because this kid is still attacking me. So get rid of that cotton-picking pesky pawn, right? Well, now you got to deal with this cotton-picking pesky pawn. Holy cow, he's relentless. The bishop will drop down to c2 to be by his king, and now look how open this board is. Holy cow. This board here says attack. There's nothing obstructing you very much at all. It's going to be a rook's attack game, right? That's obvious. Yes. Bring your other rook in and go check. And now you've got 2 rooks on a semi-file and a full file. Wow. This has actually gotten mildly serious to the point where Capablanca has to start paying attention. And now look what this little 2-year-old experienced in chess kid does. He's going to bring his 3rd piece over, just like a grandmaster would. He doesn't just keep relentlessly attacking with just his rooks. He brings in everything. This is incredible. Rook comes to e1. Oh, c3. Oh, and there is an exclamation point on that move. So, Capablanca decided, that's it. I am now playing chess. Right? So is this 14-year-old Botvinnik. He also is playing chess. Look at this attack, will you, on a world champion. He is going to take the bishop with his knight, then he is going to bring his rook down right to there. This is a serious attack. It's no more fun and games. Forget all the other boards. The reigning champion is about to lose. None of the other boards even exist in Capablanca's mind at this point. He's recognizing, I am being beat here. Yes, that's incredible. So, rook comes up here to e2, and now Botvinnik comes over here to d8. It's almost like he's toying with the world champion. Because now the threat is here. Is he going to queen a pawn on the reigning world champion? Really? Watch what happens here. This is truly incredible. Capablanca puts e4. Rook comes to c6. Now he doesn't do d2 just yet. Not quite. Because if he puts the rook at d2, then he'll take that pawn, and that leaves the rook without an anchor, right? So not yet, not yet. And when he went to rook c6, Capablanca said, that's it. I'm done. I'm going to beat this kid. So now he is going to eliminate this pawn. There's no question about that. Rook e3, and then Botvinnik, the 2-year experienced sensational wonder kid, puts a move on the world champion like a Bruce Lee roundhouse on a 5-year-old. This is astonishing how strong he is, right? The rook takes the pawn, and now the rook is all alone. And Botvinnik puts a tactic here that is just truly staggering. For a 2-year experienced kid, this is the move of the century. As far as I'm concerned, this is why this game should be better known, because he takes the bishop. Check. And I want you to see this. What this is an X-ray attack through the rook to the king. That's a fabulous tactic. Amazingly enough, his knight is supporting his rook. All of his pieces are perfectly coordinated in an attack against the world champion right now. So his rook takes the rook, and the rook takes the rook check. And at this point, Capablanca resigned. The 14-year-old beat the world champion. For real. I got this game out of... Oh, where is it? Come on. Oh, I wrote it down. I thought it's Botvinnik Move by Move, I believe, by Cyrus Lokdawala. Very good chess teacher, chess coach. I love his books. I've got a couple of them, and they're sensational. And the reason he resigned is obvious. And I'm going to show you this. Because once Lokdawala didn't show this, this is my variation of why would a world champion resign. Because it's not checkmate. It doesn't have to be. Because now Botvinnik is going to clean him out of his pawns. And you say, well, wait a minute now. He's got a pawn here. That's true. He's got a pawn there. But Botvinnik has a pawn there. And he goes, yeah, well, hold on. He can come over here and get that pawn. That's true. And Botvinnik can come here and get that pawn. Says, well, you know, you can take that pawn. And Botvinnik can take that pawn. And now what do you see on his chessboard? You see 2 pawns on the king's side, which gives black the majority of pawns. And you also see an extra knight. The world champion is down a piece and a pawn. That's why Capablanca resigned. This game is worth playing through several times just to get the feel and the spirit of it. That was astonishing. That was well done. So there's your Backyard Professor video. I didn't show you any of the variations because, quite frankly, man, some of my videos are getting almost 45, 50 minutes. I don't know if it bothers you to have videos that long or not. It takes me forever and a day to upload them. So I don't mind doing the shorter videos. The problem is, then I lack the variations. I've been trying to put variations in because people say they want to see the variations, and they are fun to see. Yeah, I'm probably overdoing it a little. I try to keep my videos at about a half an hour if I can at all do so. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Enjoy this game, and remember, I have tried like crazy. I have bad news for you. I've tried like crazy to stop Christmas from coming so fast, and it's not paying attention, so it's almost right upon us. So get your Christmas shopping done, pay it forward, be nice. be happy, even if you don't feel like it. So what? Take a Tylenol or something, drink a glass of orange juice, do something to feel better, and take care of yourself, because we've got a lot of fun chess videos to watch. Me to make them, you to watch them. So have fun, and I will say, and by the way, happy checkmating. And I will see you in the next video.